Hi, everybody. It is June 4th, Saturday. And what I wanted to talk about is um, the ramifications of truth coming out. If you notice, there's more uh, disclosure of hidden truths, let me put it that way, uh, coming out. Um, it's definitely just a trickle at this point, but it it's going to be very similar to like a break in a dam. It'll start out as a small little trickle of water, and then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, and pretty soon that whole dam is going to break down. And how that's going to happen is, as anybody sort of knows, just basic human behavior. Once you realize you're being lied to about something in particular, then you start doubting whatever. In this case, let's say, for instance, the news media. You start doubting anything they say. They go, well, if you lied about that thing, then you probably might be lying about this, and then, and especially when things start, you know, well, in this case, it's things are starting to get kind of confusing because it's 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 when the truth comes out, it doesn't match with lies. So things start sounding confusing. It's like, well, what do you mean about this? Because if this is right, then it doesn't make sense about this. And it was when things come through truthfully and honestly, they match up really well because it's like, oh, well, that makes sense now. Now I know why you did that and whatever. So as we go forward, when more truth keeps coming out, more disclosure, things are going to get crazy. I'll just tell you that right now. Like, so, there's one thing being controlled and lied to if everybody buys into the lie. But once you get a population or a group of people that realize they're being lied to, uh, and even if we're being silenced, which we were for well hundreds of years, let alone decades, just in our recent memory, remember a lot of people that came forward with some truths, and they're either taken out or made fools of or whatever. So we understand now that uh, we're past the breaking point of the truth is going to come out on a lot of subjects. So what I was going to talk about was the consequences of that. So, uh, but yeah, there's just this is going to be a really crazy stage. This next 2 years in particular of this freedom operation, which we're involved in right now, and it's basically it's like waking people up to we're being played, we're being used, and it's not just a bunch of bad people. We're being affected by off-world entities and things like that. It's a bigger picture. What's going on? Really big picture. So it's it takes a while to really wrap your head around a lot of this stuff. So for us that are up to let me put it this way, up to speed. I'm still learning new stuff all the time too. But we're getting up to speed. So we're at the point where we could try to help other people kind of wake up to what's going on. But anyway, what I was going to talk about, like I said, is the consequences of this. Um, I call them game changers. They're really big game changers. Like for instance, when I'll just use this as an example, but take for instance, when the military found out about, let's say crashed saucers with beings from other planets or other worlds, whatever, uh, they uh, they want. Well, it's like, well, how do you disclose this information to a public? Because we're all taught that that these things don't exist and everything. So it's like it's pretty hard to come clean on that because it's a game changer. Like I said, it's like these are kind of game changers. So, and there's consequences for that because if we realize, well, we're flying around in these these planes that we got to put fuel into them, and they've got turbine engines and whatever, and then these guys are just floating around with anti-gravity flying saucers, which are obviously going to be reverse engineered, which they have done. I'm just saying, but yet we're still stuck with uh, this old technology, and we're forced to use it. There's a few things that are going to change that are going to be really big game changers, and it's going to change our society a lot. And that's the problem. Is take for instance that it's like, okay, well, if we've got machines that are anti-gravity and we don't have to do these rockets to get off this planet, we can get off this planet with a lot easier methods that are that are available, but they're just hidden from us. Anti-gravity, things like that. Well, that's going to change a lot of things, guys. It's going to be, well, I mean, it's just some logical questions come to it. Just a person, an average person, right away. It's like, well, if there's such a thing as anti-gravity, then wait a minute. If I wanted to lift a huge machinery, why don't I put this anti-gravity thing underneath it, and I can move this giant block of cement that we're working on for construction, and it's going to change that industry. Instead of like a big giant crane, we're going to have anti-gravity things, whatever. Okay, if that's the case, then there's also, well, if it's got self-contained free energy and it's flying around, well, let's reverse engineer that machine that creates energy, or in a sense, is transforming it. And if perpetual, it's perpetually regenerating itself, so it's like endless power. Well, why don't we just make a bunch of those and put them in our houses, and instead of using electricity that we have to pay for, why don't we just, it's a one-time cost. It's like, okay, we got our own little free energy machine that we spent $350 for, and it actually runs everything in our house. Runs our lights. Then we'll have more efficient lights, which we have in a sense, LEDs. That's kind of what they are compared to the old incandescent bulbs. I'm just saying, it becomes this ripple effect of, well, that's going to change that energy, and then a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, because like, well, there's no sense of people working at the electric company because everybody's got their own electrical generator at home, whatever. So there's going to be, what I'm saying is going to be a cascade of game changers that are going to come out. And then take, for instance, well, I don't have to go to work now as much. I can kind of back off my job because, first of all, they're not hiring at the crane manufacturing plant anymore, so all those people have got to get another job because we use anti-gravity lifts now. And then it's like, well, I've got a lot more extra money now because I've got a free energy source in my house. Now I don't have to come up with, utility costs and whatever, and all this stuff. And I've got water purifiers now. So this is kind of the new world that we're heading into. So like I said on previous videos, we're heading into a paradigm change. Now, if you're kind of wondering why things are rolling out kind of slowly, it's a combination of two things going on. Is, first of all, the old guard, the ones I call them our controllers, but it's the people that in a sense have kind of hijacked or kidnapped us, and they're keeping us dummied down and ignorant to what's really going on. And how do you do that? Well, for sure, you have to control the mainstream medias. So everybody has figured out by now, they're lying to us for sure. And not only that, but also anybody in positions of high government, they're all told to do not tell people what's really going on. So you've got the series of sort of kind of, whether it's the CIA or whatever, but you've got a bunch of departments that are purposely trying to make sure that we don't find out what's really going on. Well, it's kind of getting too late because people are really starting to wake up now. So I guess in a sense, what I'm trying to say is because there's sort of two factions. Not it's not as simple as that. But I'm going to simplify it. But for instance, we've got good guys helping us disclose the truth. It's like a good guy alliance, whether it's off planet and on planet, which it is. They're trying to help us wake up to what's going on and basically get the truth out. And then you've got the old controllers that have old systems in place to keep this dummy down and to hold back the truth. They're hanging on desperately to whatever power they have left, which is diminishing because the good guys are winning, sort of, if you know what I mean. So we're helping get this truth out. Now, so because you've got these sort of two forces working at the same time, that's what's kind of dragging this out. I think in some ways, this is what I've been getting. Is they're saying that this? I'll limit it this way. It's kind of like a message from the good guys. Is what I've been getting. Is they're saying they've kind of run scenarios. As you can imagine, you could just put scenarios in a computer and say, well, what would happen if I told people they don't have to pay for power anymore? What would be the ramifications for that? And they run that program. It's like, wow, that's a game changer. There's a lot of those game changers, like I said, that we're about to be privy to. So they're going, well, this is just too much. It's going to take a lot longer for people to really, really grasp these concepts. So let's try to take the slow road of the slow disclosure version, is kind of what the good guys are saying. And because they're doing that, the bad guys are going, good, that's going to give us another few months to try to slow it down as well. So ultimately what it is there's just too many big game changers coming ahead of us that are going to be shocking for people. Not only just the realization that what's been going on, which is really shocking, is the realization that things are not what we're told. Our reality is not what we're told. So it's going to be a huge eye-opener for a lot of people. And like I said, I'm going to call this video Game Changers because, man, that's what it is. These are all extreme game changers, including our financial system. When people realize that we're living in a debt society planned by our controllers. We're all constantly paying for things we don't have to, energy and things like that, and we're forced, and they keep getting, forcing inflation on us, raising the prices constantly, so we never ever catch up. This is a system put into place. I can go on about that, but anyway, I'm just saying even that's going to change. Our financial system is going to change. So there's so many big changes ahead that the people, like I said, even the people that are helping us through this and busting down, the doors of all this hidden truths, even they're thinking just, wow, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be too much information for people to really absorb. So we better kind of put the reins on it a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been getting lately. So if this makes sense to you guys, good. But yeah, just I guess in a sense, hang on for a bumpy ride because it's gonna, when the truth comes out, which it is, it's coming out. It's like there's nothing that can stop it now. It's just a matter of how quickly it's going to come out. It's going to change our world. It's a game changer. Okay, anyway, I just want to talk about that for now. So talk to you guys later, maybe next week or something. Okay, bye.